Hi, I'm Joe,
And I'm Fernando.
and this is the Digital Addiction Empire. And today we will be reviewing another movie, Resident Evil Retribution. Alright, well, this movie basically continues off the other Resident Evil movies. Alice was previously at the end of the Afterlife. She was on the ship, and Umbrella Corporation was coming after her, and she ends up being captured and taken to an Umbrella Corporation facility, which is underwater, and no one has ever escaped from it. And yeah, she needs help. So basically, the least person that we thought would come and save her, Westler, he basically sends a team of people to basically save her, and so they basically go down there. The whole place is set to blow up, and so they're on like a time limit to get out of there. And basically, the whole facility, Umbrella Corporation, has like all these simulated cities where the infection spreads. So basically, they have to like travel through each like city, to escape. And it's like they have to go through Moscow and Tokyo, and like Raccoon City, a bunch of places where, in the previous movies we kind of visited, or we seen, some kind of, the famous girl in the middle of Tokyo's square or whatever. She becomes affected and starts biting people, and that's how the infection starts there. And so, what I thought was interesting about this movie is that it kind of goes back to the first movie, where they're in the hive and they're kind of like down in the facility, and they're like stuck down there where the infection is and stuff, and they have to get out.
Yeah, so they're like trapped in there.
Yeah, they're trapped in there and they got to get out. And basically, they end up bringing back a bunch of characters from the first one, from the second one, all due to clones. So they need clones to have the simulations of these parts of the facility.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't they use her blood for that too?
Yeah, so they have everyone's blood somehow.
Yeah.
So they previously they showed you cloning Alice in Resident Evil Extinction. So basically, she ends up like finding all the clones and like turning against Umbrella. But in this one, they have all the clones of different people just for simulation purpose wise, because they wanted to show that to different governments that make billions and billions of dollars off this T virus. So they have to escape, and they end up escaping kind of on the surface, and then they're confronted by the chick from Resident Evil Apocalypse, and they have like a giant like showdown.
Yeah, she's blonde now, right?
Yeah, she's blonde
with long hair.
Yeah, and she's controlled by the Red Queen with the little spider thing attached to her, and so she ends up fighting her, and that's actually a pretty good fight. And then they bring back Michelle Rodriguez, and she ends up like injecting herself with something to fight against like the basketball player. I'm trying to think of what his name is from Afterlife.
Yeah, she like enhances her, it gets her strong.
Yeah, she's like super buff, and she ends up like fighting two people at one time. So I thought that scene was actually pretty epic. Is there anything you liked about this movie?
I guess you could say mostly the fighting scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Between like just like how epic they were. I know you can go back to the other ones, like the first ones and all that. How you can say all the fighting scenes are good as well as that.
Killing all the zombies.
Yeah, like just the whole zombie stuff. And then now when you come here, since like I guess like it's more like I guess technology is bigger in this one than it was like in the other ones. So the fighting scenes are just a lot more better and detailed, I guess you could say.
And they brought back like a lot of stuff that we kind of liked from like Afterlife. Like she had like a double barrel like shotgun thing filled with quarters. Like everyone would love that. And she just like shoots that through a giant zombie's head, and quarters just go flying.
Yeah, I guess you could say just like all the badassery that she just does.
And it's crazy because I know she's like an agent that used to work for Umbrella Corporation, and so she's kind of like a badass, and she shoots and like she jumps around all over the place. But she doesn't have her powers in this movie because she got them taken away in the previous movie. So, but I think she does get them back, right?
Yeah, towards the end, like the guy sneaks up, he gets up to her, right, and it's like injects her.
Yeah, Whistler injects her at
Yeah,
the
Whistler.
end.
So like that's one of like the cool parts, I guess you say. It's like she gets him back. You know, like, you thought she lost him for good.
Yeah, I
And
was kind of like
she's-
bummed out when she lost him in the previous movie. I was like,
Yeah, I guess you
"What?"
say that's one of the good like focal points and one of the cool parts. You know, it's like how she's enhanced in the other ones and all that. Then she ends up losing him. You know, you're thinking, oh man, she's not. What's she gonna do? You know, and then she ends up getting him back at the end. So
Yeah.
that's a cool part.
And the cool part, like, was just I just liked how they brought back a bunch of actors and people that are from the video games, like Leon. They bring in this guy to play Leon, who's like he's pretty much on the cover of all the Resident Evil games. You know, it's based off the games, and he's like on the cover
like
of all
fan
of them.
favorites. You know, it's like people
Yeah.
who like just wanting to see them again or like see them and they finally came back. You know.
Yeah, so like at the end of this movie, it's pretty much like they bring a bunch of like the video game characters, and then they bring back a bunch of the original characters, basically at the end.
Yeah.
So I really like that they just basically brought back a bunch of, people from the original ones. So, yeah. Is there any dislikes you had about this movie?
Dislikes. No, not really.
Mhm.
All I can say is just like the fight scenes were epic. You know, it's my favorite part is her getting her powers back finally. You know, it's just everything's like it's all epic. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it. Didn't really find anything bad about it. I like how this movie was pretty good, and it was basically a setup for, the final movie, the Resident Evil, the final chapter, where she goes back to Raccoon City, which is actually coming out pretty soon. So, they bring back all the characters, for this final thing where they go back to Raccoon City, they go back into the hive to basically shut down the Red Queen, who's pretty much been like a kind of quiet villain throughout all the movies. Usually it was just like, oh, we have to stop the scientists that are in charge of Umbrella Corporation, these greedy scientists about the T virus this, the T virus that, and on a cellular level, these people are so obsessed with like the T virus, and those guys have kind of been like the villains, but the Red Queen is like the AI who's in charge of Umbrella Corporation. So when everyone basically is like dead, she's basically in control of it. She uses like this mind control thing that's attached to people. And,
AI, man, AI.
yeah, so I mean, she's basically the final villain. The world is pretty much done, so they need to go back to Raccoon City and settle this once and for all, because Umbrella Corporation is not part of the solution, they're part of the problem. So I would have to give this movie I'll give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. I thought that they brought back a lot of stuff from the original movies before it. I really thought that the ending was really cool. It got me really pumped up for the final chapter when this movie ended. It was really like kind of a little bit of a setup movie, but it had a lot of epic scenes in it and good zombie kills, and yeah.
Yeah, as well as 8.5, because just the epicness of the fight scenes. Like that's my opinion. Like that's my great parts about it. It's just like the fight scenes are just perfect, and just the way they set it up, everything. So.
Yeah, and then they just did it like kind of in like all these like different. They did in Tokyo and like Raccoon City, and it kind of was like, like it brought you back. If you're a fan of all the movies, it took you back to all the previous movies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just like how you said it too. Yeah, like I was about to say that. Yeah, like just how you said, like just bringing back everything.
Yeah, so that was Resident Evil Retribution. I hope you liked it. The new one is coming out, Resident Evil, the final chapter. If you're a Resident Evil fan, let us know what you think down below. Was this your favorite Resident Evil movie? Are you excited for the new one? What are you looking forward to? And, follow us on Instagram, subscribe, like, comment. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
yeah, there's all the social media stuff in there, you know. He pretty much got it all.
All right, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. See you.